Did you remember a while ago when we discussed the Albanian TikTokers invading the UK?
Yes.
Yeah,
Literally
they
putting
were.
videos on TikTok saying, pay us €4,000 and we'll get you into the United Kingdom.
Yeah, it's like a package holiday. You can find that segment, obviously, over on our YouTube channel there. Oh, how times fly. The title was apparently very prophetic because recently Suella Braverman, our Home Secretary, was chewed out both in the Commons and the predictably leftist media for using that same phrase to describe the insufferable influx of Channel migrants who have washed up on our shores and demanded our hospitality in various hotels across the country.
I mean, she did literally use the term invasion.
Yeah.
And they are literally invading.
Well, if the numbers I'm going to read out to you in yesterday's published stats do not constitute an invasion, I would love to know what would. However, the numbers are disputed by the Albanian PM and a bunch of fifth columnists in the UK,
Oh, yeah.
which is not particularly opportune because it's undermining our national security. Just before we go, the reason I've picked this promo today, obviously if you can subscribe to the website, you can go and watch content like this. It's your speech at the Whitton, the Word and the Shire. I thought the framing was pretty perfect for what is going to be described in this segment, and that is the permissiveness of our immigration system, allowing all of these people to come in and live off the taxpayer teat, is a grievance committed against the indigenous English community.
Yeah.
And it very much feels like we're being colonised. So, let's have a look, shall we? First of all, the BBC's reporting, boo-hoo, and I'm not even going to manufacture any kind of sympathy at this point. I just don't care anymore. BBC, cold, hungry migrants left stranded in London. Well, you did arrive here.
Go home.
Exactly. So about 40 migrants were moved from Manston, the overcrowded processing centre, currently being filled by Albanians. I've got the same thing, don't worry. On Tuesday, so they could stay with friends and family in the capital, a homeless charity volunteer said. 11 of them had nowhere to go after reaching Victoria Railway
That's because you
Station.
broke into the country illegally.
Yeah.
That's why you've got nowhere to go.
Well, I've seen on my journeys to and from Swindon in the mornings and evenings, there are lots of bag-holding, flip-flop wearing, tracksuit wearing migrants just walking up and down train carriages. And as well, one time I was just sitting there minding my own business and I had a laminated, don't know how you got a laminator if you're sleeping on the streets, card thrown in front of me saying, oh, my wife, child and I are living on the streets, please can you give me some money? And he went around putting them all on the tray tables.
Doesn't speak English, needs
No,
a card.
Exactly, yeah.
No, piss off.
Yeah. The government faced criticism after reports that Manston was holding migrants, including families, for 4 weeks in breach of the law because they're meant to be processed within 24 hours. But there's just too many people, of course. At most, 1,600 migrants should be at the processing centre at any one time. The MP for the area said the figure was more like 4,000 on Monday. The BBC spoke to one migrant who says he was left stranded at Victoria Station Tuesday night. John, not his real name, of course, said he spent 21 days at Manston sleeping on a mattress in a tent with about 150 people. Daniel Abbas, who was volunteering with the Under One Sky charity, traitor, that evening, spotted the group. The men, who he understood to be from Afghanistan, Syria and Iraq, I'm sure that's what they told you, were all wearing identity bracelets with QR codes on their wrists. They appeared to have been issued by the Home Office. So now, basically, the detention centres are so full they're just spilling over onto London streets, and they're wandering around like vagrants with their possessions in bags, expecting to be picked up at any time and dropped off at a hotel at our behest. So I have no sympathy for these people. Why?
No.
Because here's the fact sheet the government put out yesterday while we were recording the podcast. Callum and I obviously covered migration. Callum did some great citizens journalism. When you read out the actual stats and statistics, it just shows the scale of the issue. So small boat crossings in the Channel, driven by both a global migration crisis, solve it by not letting them in, and organised crime, solve it by cracking down on them, have been growing and are causing an unprecedented strain on the asylum system. As reported to the Home Affairs Select Committee on the 26th of October 2022, up to that point this year, 38,000 people have arrived in the Channel by small boat. Breaking down how this has been changing, the demographics of the contents of these boats have been changing. From May to September 2022, Albanian nationals alone comprised 42% of small boat crossings, with 11,102 Albanians arriving by small boats within those 5 months. And that's
Hang on, before we go on, what war was going on in Albania again?
None. They're actually a NATO member. And British people go on holiday there.
Right.
But
so isn't it amazing that we set up this nice progressive asylum system and people start abusing it?
We will get onto later just the rates of acceptance, which is the main problem with this country. It totals to about 1 to 2% of the entire Albanian male population who have arrived here, as Harry mentioned to you the other week. In contrast, over the whole of 2021, there are a total of 815 Albanian nationals who arrived by this method. So small boat crossings the Albanians have ventured on. It says in here, actually, Albania is considered a safe country, and the country is listed as a designated state under Section 94 of the Nationality, Immigration and Asylum Act of 2002. So it's not like even a recent act has outlawed their immigration here. That means that, quote, there is in general a state or no part of serious risk I'll start that again. In general, in that state or part of it, no serious risk of prosecution of persons entitled to reside in the state or part of it. So basically, you're not going to be persecuted by the government, so you shouldn't be coming here.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, 7,627 Albanians ending the year June 2022 claimed asylum in the UK, more than double the number in the preceding year, 3,578.
Surely this is a 5-minute job then. They'll be like, oh, we're from Albania, we're claiming asylum. No risk of persecution in Albania, back you go.
You would think that, though the current grant rate is 53% positive applications compared to 76% for all other nationalities. So they're saying, oh, don't worry, we're letting less of them in. It's like, but there's still 53% of them that are coming in. That's over half from a country which is not on the asylum register. So why are you accepting any of them? Don't worry, the grant rate also very significantly well broken down by gender. Only 14% of Albanian adult males whose cases were concluded in the last year were granted protection, whereas the children and female Albanian asylum seekers grant rate is currently 90%.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, though, most Albanians crossing the channel on the small boats are male. In 2018 to June 2022, 95% of small boat arrivals were male.
We're letting 90% of the women in, which is about 15 of them.
Yeah. Over the same period, only 35% of those Albanian nationals whose cases were decided and who were granted for protection were male. So, they're saying, oh don't worry, we're only letting the women and children in. Well, no. And also, even the women and children, one, they're being trafficked here, sure.
Yes.
But the country itself does not warrant asylum claimants coming from there.
Yes, 0 people from Albania should be granted asylum.
So let's look at this problem on a daily, weekly, and annually scale, shall we? None yesterday, apparently. No boat migrants at all yesterday.
Really?
Yeah. Scroll down. See? None that they've counted within 24 hours. And I would
Find that
assume
hard to believe.
it's because the weather was horrible. That's about it.
Okay.
But last week, 1,766 total. If we can go to the next one, please. It's in the next tab. There we go. That was 990 in a single day on the 29th of October. So just in time to run to the Halloween Poundland to get Halloween costumes, I'm sure. Annually, let's go to the BBC's reporting on this. So in 2020, there were 50 Albanians on small boats. In 2021, about 800. In 2022, about 12,000 so far. Of this year's Albanian migrants, 10,000 were single adult men. So there's a bit of a discrepancy from the Home Office's numbers yesterday. I'm going to trust the Home Offices, but you can see even the BBC has to report this at this point. If you can just show the bar graph, look at all the other countries. Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, Syria, Eritrea, Sudan, Egypt, Vietnam, Kuwait. Others are not recorded.
I don't believe any of them, frankly.
Well, of course, there's that massive war going on in Egypt. Oh, no, wait. Vietnam,
What about Iran?
Yeah, Iran. Well, there's that
Is
really
the war
progressive
in Syria not over?
revolution happening at the moment. So I guarantee they're running from all the schoolgirls taking off their hijabs, I'm sure. Some Albanian migrants are believed to have made asylum claims on the ground they've been trafficked into the UK. Albanians are the most commonly referred nationality for trafficking support in the UK. I would wonder why are you creating perverse incentives for them to keep doing it then?
Yes.
In 2022, in the months...
They're literally making it a profitable endeavour.
Yeah, you're basically subsidising criminal gangs by allowing them to have an avenue to drop people off and guarantee success.
Yeah.
Like you're creating their marketing materials for them.
You are part of their business model.
Yeah. So until June, only 440 people were actually returned to Albania. Almost all were single adult men. And Albanians represent the highest number of foreign offenders sent back in the year March 2022. So only the highest number that we've actually sent back is 440.
And
that's of any nationality.
1,000 arrive a week.
Yeah. 990 the other day. Great. So 2-to-1 ratio in a single day versus months and months and months. So that's less than 4% of all arrivals this year have been deported back. 3 decades after the collapse of the Enver Hoxha's dictatorship and the opening of Albania's borders, about 60% of the country's adult population wanted to leave, according to a Gallup poll published in December 2018. They cited corruption, low salaries, poor working conditions, and low quality of life as their main reasons. And so basically it's become untenable for even the BBC to report, yeah, these people aren't fleeing war and persecution. It's just so obvious.
It's just their country sucks. Well, whose fault was that?
Yeah. But did you know, apparently the UK barely takes in any asylum claimants. If you look at the world on your doorstep, you wouldn't know it. But thanks to the geniuses at the New Statesman, they've done this graph. We can just...
this is good. Per 10,000 population.
Well, if we can just
click
on this image, possibly, John, just to enlarge it instead, because they've rather deceptively created this. So Cyprus is at the top with 152.6 per 10,000. The UK is at the bottom of their graph, not at the bottom of the table, because underneath it says additional 13 rows not shown. So we're technically slap bang in the middle.
Right.
But they very deceptively edited it for Twitter.
But also, we have quite a large population compared to Liechtenstein, Slovenia, Malta, Austria, and Cyprus.
We're also on the backside end of the entirety of Europe. We're an isolated island nation, and you have to cross through all the others to get here.
Yes.
But most importantly, it's not how many people are the applicants per 110,000, sorry. It's how many successful applicants. That's more important. We go to the Home Office statistics here. The UK has one of the highest refugee acceptance rates at 81%. 81%.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter the country, doesn't matter the reason, doesn't matter whether or not you have documents. 81% of people who just show up on our doorstep, we just let them in. Great. I'm sure that has loads of implications for the public purse. So the rate is actually the rate of the same year as a New Statesman's data, which is also just so the New Statesman's data is also really deceptive because since 2021, the boat numbers have quadrupled. So we're going to be letting in 81% of quadruple the statistic anyway. And then Rishi Sunak said yesterday at PMQs, don't worry, we've just got to process the asylum claims faster.
Hey, that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's the speed of processing.
Yeah. It's not
that's the issue.
It's not that there's too many people. It's
well
not
done
that
for speaking to my...
They don't have legitimate claims. It's that, we just need to get more of them. More of the 81% in within 24 hours. So, thankfully, we know who the culprit is. It's us.
Yeah. Definitely
the Albanians. Because the Albanian Prime Minister has taken to Twitter and also BBC Newsnight.
Oh, is this the Albanian Prime Minister?
Yes, it is.
Right,
wonderful.
Okay.
Tweeting like a 12-year-old girl. Targeting Albanians as some shamefully did when fighting for Brexit as the cause of Britain's crime and border problems. Let's not talk about all the drug dealers, I suppose.
They literally are breaking the law to cross our borders in human trafficking and drug trafficking gangs.
Yes, but that makes for easy rhetoric and ignores hard facts. Repeating the same things and expecting different results is insane. Ask Einstein. If we can just scroll down so I can read the rest of these, please. 70% of the 140,000 Albanians who've moved to the UK were living in Italy and Greece.
Don't care.
But hang on. 70% of the 140,000 Albanians moved to the UK were living in Italy and Greece. All right. So
what about the other 40,000?
But it's also, okay, they were living in Italy and Greece.
Yeah.
So why are you here?
Yeah.
You're in a safe country.
Yeah, I don't care. Exactly. You know?
Thanks, I guess.
What are you going to say? All the migration into Italy and Greece has made it unsafe. I mean,
can't talk about that, can we? 1,200 of them are business people. Sorry. 1,200
people, right?
1,200 of the 140,000 are business people.
But that's, sure. But I mean, human trafficking is a business. It's an illegal business, but it's
a very lucrative one, thanks to the UK government. Albanians in the UK work hard and pay tax.
I don't think that they do.
Check the local Holiday Inn. UK should fight the crime gangs of all nationalities and stop discriminating via Albanians to excuse policy failures.
You know what? We actually are fighting all of the crime gangs of all nationalities. It's just these ones happen to all be Albanian.
Despite making up. Albania is a NATO country. Thank you for the admission that you're safe. And is negotiating with its EU membership. It is also a safe country of origin.
Then
so why are we accepting asylum claimants? When Germany had similar problems, it tightened its own systems by letting everyone in. The UK can and should do the same, not respond with a rhetoric of crime that ends up punishing the innocent.
I mean, I actually agree with him, though. We can and should do the same. We absolutely should. We should be like, no, none of you. Back.
Albania is not a rich country and was for a very long time a victim of empires. We never had our own.
But not our empire, so...
Sorry, your country sucks, I guess.
Yeah, what do you want me to do? You were conquered by the Ottomans. Okay.
Did you see that they were recently mad, all the migrants being bussed out of the detention centre, because when the press took photos of them on the coach, they made the eagle, the two-headed eagle sign? Yeah, so that's the symbol of the united Albania. It's meant to be a nationalist symbol,
right, okay.
So thumb in the eye to the Ottomans.
Right.
We have a duty to fight crime at home and are doing so resolutely, as cooperating closely with others too. Ready to work closely with the UK, but facts are crucial, so is mutual respect. I love that he hits on mutual respect. Should we see his exact rhetoric for how he thinks of the UK? Let's go over to Victoria Derbyshire on Newsnight.
A point where it was impossible to not react because it was really an embarrassment for our civilization to hear all kind of crazy words being thrown in the air like normality. And invasion was the peak.
Why do you think the British Home Secretary is using words like invasion?
It's not about one person. It's about climate that has been created. And it's about finding scapegoats and blaming others, while it's very obvious, even from Tirana, which is not near to London,
This is infuriating.
that it's about failed policies. It's not about Albanians or aliens or gangsters, but it's about failed policies on borders and on crime.
I agree.
I mean, he's not wrong, but this...
But the failed policies are regarding the Albanians coming in, who are gangsters
The
and
Albanians
criminals.
have done nothing wrong. It's you that is the problem. And in a way, he's right. The Albanians can't be expected not to be gangsters and criminals, not to break into our country, and we should have prevented it. He is right.
It's literally like a burglar on the docket defending himself at trial, saying,
You
"Well,
should have locked your door.
exactly. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
You should have had a ring doorbell.
Yeah.
Your wife shouldn't have been wearing her nightdress, I suppose." If we can just go to the next one, just because I wanted to annoy you even more.
What do you think the consequences of that might be for Albanians
What?
settled in the UK?
Consequences of course,
Settled
this
others.
this kind of language for sure doesn't come for good. It doesn't. This kind of language is not a policy, is not a program, is not a vision, is nothing but fueling xenophobia and targeting, singling out community and practically going totally against the great British tradition of integrating the minorities. Britain was a
Okay,
role
yeah,
model
we go.
in
Just,
Pause it.
I just. Oh, you're going to appeal to our great British traditions, are you? Integrating the minorities, mate, you've not been here, have you?
When I am weak, I appeal to freedom because it is your principle. When I am strong, I take away your freedom because it is my principle.
But we have totally failed to integrate the vast number of migrants who have come to Britain.
because they're disinterested in doing so.
Yeah, why? And they've got no incentive to do so.
Yeah, they're just
And-
economic chances.
And this whole you being discriminatory. No, I'm actually not. I'm xenophobic against all of them.
I'm an equal opportunity, don't want
yeah,
you here.
Yeah, exactly. Just,
We can just play the last 30 seconds.
now is becoming like I don't know, like a madhouse.
yeah, that's
You
right.
seem
And who's made it that way?
you seem pretty angry about this.
No, I'm not angry at all.
I am.
I'm a big admirer of United Kingdom. I have friends that I'm privileged to have there, and I admire everything that Britain represents. But I really am disgusted about this kind of politics that at the end is doomed to fail.
It's only doomed to fail because our politicians aren't on our side. But notice at no point did he say, Albania is a safe country, don't go.
But I mean, we could stop this at any time.
Well, one way we could stop this, possibly, if we go to this next tab from again, the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, looking at their international aid, turns out we were giving Albania aid in 2020. So the European countries that received ODA in 2020 were Albania, Belarus, Bosnia, Kosovo, Moldova, Montenegro, North Macedonia, Serbia, Turkey, and Ukraine. I didn't see anything for 2021 specifically because I looked on their page. However, I will say, if we don't do anything to stop this, and we find out in 2022 statistics that we've been giving money to the Albanians, there will be some kind of widespread outrage among the media commentary,
How much
I'm
did
sure.
you give to Albania?
It actually didn't say the exact amount.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's someone smarter than me with numbers would be able to break it down, but it didn't say the exact amount in the paragraph that I found where it said we gave money to Albania. But it's less so about the amount and more so about the principle of it. Why are we giving money to a nation which is not at war, which is a NATO ally, which is applying for EU membership, and is sending 1 to 2% of its male population over here just to take our money without telling
Illegally
them not to?
invading the country.
Yeah. So, simple solution to all of this. Just don't let them in. Don't let them in at all. Let them float in the channel as examples as to why you are not allowed in our country. I don't care anymore. I work hard. You don't. You're not entitled to my money. Stay in Albania. If you don't like it, make it better.
If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as the premium articles, this one on the re-emergence of the leftist totalitarianism, and an audio track for silver and gold tiers, of course. If you'd like to find out what else we're putting out, you can follow us on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.